Welcome to Twisted Dye Kitchen, my fiber journey. This is Sherry, and I'm located here in Kirkwood, Missouri. This is episode 5, Rug Design. I hope all is well. Thank you to all my subscribers and to new viewers that are the first time viewing my podcast. Thank you. You are so welcome. If you like, please hit the subscribe. And if you really want to know what's happening and be the first, you can hit the little bell by subscribe, and that'll let you know when I've updated a new podcast. Sit back, get your coffee, tea, whatever your favorite beverage is, and let's enjoy the journey. Thanks. Come on. Hopefully today this podcast will take us away from all the uncertainties in the world. Thankfully, here in the United States, the elections are all over and our new president will be elected and officially sworn in soon. But with the COVID, it's just very uncertain. The United States is being hit again. Missouri is really shutting down a lot, especially through the holidays. So the governor has put us on a minimum of 10 people within a household. So my heart, my prayers go out to everyone who is suffering from isolation during this time. The holidays are supposed to be a special time for us, for families, to enjoy each other. Let's just take a little moment of some peace and enjoyment and enjoy this podcast. Hopefully it'll take you away from all the uncertainties. We're now going to go into rug hooking and my rug hooking designs. As you probably have noticed, I am in a different setting. This is the sunroom where I primarily work on my rugs, my knitting, kind of like my little hideaway where I can keep all my stuff hidden from when guests come over to the house. We are getting a new roof and subsequently some new skylights. And because of that, everything is all over the place. So I am here in my sunroom with some great overhead lighting. And I'm going to talk with you a little bit about my thoughts on my Acadia National Park series. It's a rug hooking series that I'm going to explore at the first of the year. I'm going to try to provide, if my viewers and rug hookers out there want to explore, a series of 3 photos that my husband took while we were in Acadia, Maine. We love, as you know, we love going to national parks, and Acadia was our most recent visits to see the beautiful, breathtaking fall foliage that they're known for. And during that time, when I travel with my husband, I get this sensation that I want to make a rug from our visit. So with that, I'll show you quickly what my plans are and what these rug hooking series, these 3 prints will be. My goal is to make 16 by 20 hand-drawn on linen designs. I'll have embellishments, say yarns, some roving, some of my art bats that I create, and some sari silk that I dyed. These will be provided along with a photo. And then during the series, during the classes, we'll go into painting the effects of our wools on these 16 by 20s. So you can either choose one series, which will be virtual, one of the series, I should say, and then you can then choose up to the 3. 16 by 20s will allow us to learn from each other, explore, and provide an adventure for all of us to try new things. And that's primarily what my fiber journey is all about. Trying and exploring and seeing what a path will open up our heart and our eyes to a new adventure. So my first one is the Van Gogh impression of a lighthouse. So this is one of the series. It may be the last because it'll be the most complicated. The second is my covered bridge. And I'll mark on this what the covered bridge name is and where it's located. And then here is our fall foliage. It's a lake scene with some beautiful skies. In these 3 photos, they will be provided as a color palette. And the drawings will be a representation of these photos. So if you're interested, I didn't want to get into too much, but if you're interested, please provide a comment below, or you can reach out to me through Instagram as Twisted Dye Kitchen, all one word. And I'll be happy to go over the details of this series. I think you'll enjoy it. I'm hoping that you'll learn from this. Nothing that is taught is not from an experience that I learned from a teacher. I'm still exploring. I'm still being taught how and what to do with my rug cooking designs. So if you enjoy that thought process and have something to look forward to at the beginning of the year, please reach out to me. Let's talk. Let's join this adventure together and go down a path that we might explore something so totally new and so much fun that you might want to do more. Looking forward to hearing from you. Next up is spinning. Section. Since I mentioned to you before, my spinning room, the sunroom, has been in shambles due to the new roof and new skylight replacements. My wheels are in the kitchen, go figure, but that gives me time to work on my spindles. And I love my spindles. I love working with them. It gives me a little bit of a break from my knitting. So I have 3 spindles here that I'm going to show you in my bag. Here are my fibers that I mentioned to you before. I keep them in this bag, as I can show you here. I have a pocket here that's for my spindles. I keep the spindles on one side, and then I keep my fibers on another side. And why I do that is so that the fibers don't gather up on a spindle that I've already spun on. So here is the most recent spindle. Excuse me while I go off screen. This is my dragon egg, and this is from Alan Berry, who I am a huge fan of. This is an amazing spindle, which really helps me with this fiber. As I mentioned to you before, I'm not sure who this fiber came from, but it's been very packed. And the fiber is on the sticky side, so it sticks to each other pretty tightly. So I really had to air this out and separate it so that it would be an easier spin. So my goal over the next few days, I want to get this. I have 3 nests ready to go. I might be able to put them all on here, which I'm hoping to do. And then what I'll do is I'll take these 2 spindles, which are the same fiber, and I'll go ahead and spin these on my Spanish peacock plying stand, which I really like. Here is a new spindle that I have not done much with yet, and I'm going to try. This is a glass bead that I'm going to be using as my whorl, and it can be either done as a support spindle or it could be done as a drop spindle. So I haven't done drop spindling for a while, so I'm going to take a relatively easy fiber to do some testing with this. It has a nice weight to it. It's very pretty. And I think that this might be a very good experiment for me. I'm going to put it over my rug in the hallway so that it doesn't hurt the glass if it falls, which it probably will. I have some other fibers in my stash that I want to go ahead and use, and I also want to use one of my art bats and work on my spindles. The natural wools that I'm still working on, which is my Jacob and the Jacob in the dark and then Jacob in the light color. Hopefully I'll be able to get my white done and completed. That's on the Lendrum right now. And then I'll be able to get into some color work, which I'm really looking forward to. I miss color. So unfortunately, that's really all I have for spinning. I hope you enjoyed that section. Let me know what spindles you use, whether they're support or drop spindles. Due to my upper back and my shoulder, I have a little bit of a problem with the drop spindles, but with that little glass bead, I think I might be okay with that. So wish me luck. Next up is my knitting. If you're interested, I do sell these bags. They're canvas bags for spindles, whether it be a drop spindle, whether it be a support spindle. And as I mentioned to you, I have 4 little nests on this side. It can hold up to a full braid if you want. And then on this side, I'm going to go ahead and pack my spindles on the other side. I made this bag really wide because of the fact that I wanted this to support and provide a placement for my spindles. You still can use this for your knitting if you wish, but for this particular reason, I had my spindles in here. So if you're interested, just give me a holler. Let me know. I have a few in that I can upload into my shop. Have a little leather tassel here and a handle. Nice for travel. Again. So knitting has really taught me a few things. The first thing that it's taught me is patience. A lot of patience. And how to frog properly. Yeah, I had to frog again. So, as I mentioned to you, I was working on my son's shawl. And I was feverishly going through it. And I knew I wanted to go ahead and get a portion of it done so I could get to the next color set. Took it when we went out of town for a little getaway to see some wild horses in Eminence, Missouri. And while I was there, I noticed a few things that I didn't really like as I joined the two color sets together. So this is the Stephen West Virtus, I think I'm saying that correctly, Virtus Unites. So when I realized I made a mistake, and then I realized, well, it's just a shawl, my son's not going to know the difference. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, okay, that's not the way to provide something that is with my time and love. It doesn't give the yarn any justice. Knowing men, especially young men, you have to give them something that's going to be sturdy enough for wear and tear. And I knew in some areas of the shawl, I wasn't happy with it. So I ripped it out. The only thing that I left was the main section, and I'm trying to get the shawl out now for you. So here's the main section. Okay, that's the main section. I ripped out from where my finger is all the way to this finger. Yeah, which meant I also ripped out this section, which also meant I ripped out this whole long rectangular section in this shawl. And the reason why I didn't like it is it didn't look finished on the inside. And as you can see, that's a nice finish. That's what I wanted to see. And I didn't see it on what I had before. So by doing this and by taking the time, doing a timeout, I realized that I needed to slow down. My mind was somewhere else during the time when I was doing color number 3. And because of that, I just breezed through the directions. And with that breezing through the directions came several mistakes. One with this orange and yellow, combining it with this section number 1. And then since I'm just in the smaller section right here, this is number 3, I wasn't happy with the join of the color number 1 and the color number 2. So I gave it time out. I gave me time out. I figured the first thing I was going to do is I don't want to knit anymore. You know how we all get, we don't want to do something that causes us grief. We want something that's going to be fun. We want something that's going to be enjoyable. We don't want to rip out all the time. So during that time out between the shawl and myself, I decided, it's not anybody's fault but myself. The pattern is written well. I went on Ravelry and I looked at some knitters that did have the shawl completed. And what I noticed, since I'm a visual learner as well as reading the instructions several times, that during the Ravelry review, I noticed this one person who did each section and she took a picture of it. And that visualization really helped me understand this pattern. I don't know if you're like me where you can read or you can look at something over and over again, and if it's backwards to our... Sorry, my camera was blinking. So what I ended up doing is I went ahead and looked at her pattern, had everything laid out, and then I went ahead and took what I knit and I saw where I made my mistakes, and I just made sure that I did it correctly. So I binge watched Reign, Reign, which I just dearly love. And during that, watching on Netflix, I got through the full process of step 1. The step 2, which is the orange and yellow, I got through with that. And then the green, which is combining step 1 and step 2 and merging those two together. I turned off the TV and I made sure that I stayed focused and read and reread and read again the directions. So I'm on the good path. My knitting and I are good friends again. As you all know, we've all experienced that. So I just wanted to let you know, don't give up. Don't give up on yourself. We're all going to make mistakes. That's just human nature. But making mistakes over and over again isn't good. So that, to me, is we're not slowing ourselves down enough to absorb what the pattern is saying, reach out to other people to help you with possibly, a visualization of if that's what you need. This is a very angular shawl, and it can be easily misinterpreted with different positions. So hopefully that maybe somebody might learn and take that same information or say, yep, sure, you're right. I've done that so many different times. So hopefully that'll help. The other thing I wanted to let you know, this is a shawl that I've done several years ago. See, I can do some knitting. This was a fun pattern, and I'm sorry, but I don't remember the pattern design. Maybe you can help me below and let me know what it is, but I really liked, you can hear the geese above. I really liked the purple and the orange together. It was kind of my Halloween fall type shawl. I liked the picot edges on the bottom. I hope you can see that. Favorite colors, obviously, the orange, but the purple was very perfect for this because the orange had a few of the purple in there. So very soft, I love this shawl. It's big enough for me to wear underneath a coat or a jacket and be just enough for me to keep my neck area warm. Today, unfortunately, even though it's November, you wouldn't know it. It's very warm outside, unseasonably warm, but it's cooler in the house. So every once in a while, I'll pull out one of my shawls and wear them so that it'll keep me warm, and then I rip it off because that's just how I am. The next, what I wanted to show you is while my son's shawl was in timeout, I pulled out my other shawl. And yes, believe it or not, I had to rip this just a little bit out. I had 2 or 3 rows to rip out. So I'm going to go ahead and get this going and get this back in the route that I want. This is one of my favorite, and I really want to wear it. And I know this is going to be extremely warm. One, because the cream color, which I got at Hobby Lobby, is alpaca in acrylic. And then this is my hand spun, if you're new to the podcast. This was my hand spun that I got the fiber from, I'll put the link below where I got it. Right now I can't think of who I got that from. But it's one of my favorite color sets that she did. It's got my turquoise, my orange. It's got a little bit of raspberry and pinks and some greens to it. So it's just all the colors that I just really, really love. Quillen Fibers. She's located in New Mexico, I believe. So that's it of my knitting. This is a relatively short podcast. I will next time have some drawings on my rug My shoddy camp is still naked. And hopefully we'll be able to have my house back in order after the roofing is done. But I wish everyone a happy holiday. That's coming up in the United States. We're going to be celebrating Thanksgiving. It's going to be sad for some of us because we won't be able to be with family members. My son lives in New York. He is visiting some family up there while he's in New York, very close to Connecticut. My daughter, who has our newest grandchild, she is keeping everyone at a distance and not having visitors during this COVID outbreak again. So it's going to be a very sad Thanksgiving, but even though it's just going to be my husband and I, he is my family. And I will make sure that this celebratory day will be good for him and I. And we'll make sure that we appreciate each other, we appreciate the family members that we do have, and give each other the love and space and respect that they need. And until then, enjoy.